Hey, Josh Lappin here again, and today we're going to talk about another one of the fundamental exercises for building strength. This is probably the number one exercise that you're going to use to build strength and power throughout your whole body. It is the squat. You may have heard about this one before, but the squat is essentially the exercise that, of course, it does work your legs because we're going to be squatting down and then going back up, but it also works a lot of the other muscles too. It works your core, your stomach, and your lower back, and there's a lot of, it works your shoulders as well because the bar is resting on your shoulders, and it's working your tricep as well because you're stabilizing that bar. So it's really almost a total body exercise, and it is the most important exercise for building strength in our program. So we're going to be doing a lot of squatting, so I want you to be able to do it right. All right? So the first thing we're going to need to do is show you how to squat correctly. I'm going to do the actual squatting movement correctly before I use the bar because I want you to see it. And if you're not able to squat like this with the bar yet, you can just actually do this exercise I'm doing now to get your body ready for the bar and things like that. So what you want to do is you want to stand about shoulder width apart, maybe a little bit more. Good comfortable stance. You don't want your legs to be too narrow. You don't want them to be too wide. So if you're standing too narrow, you're not going to be able to squat comfortably or support the bar. If you're standing too wide, I think you're looking at a potential injury as well. So a nice moderate, slightly wider than shoulder stance perhaps. And for the actual squat, what we're going to do is we're going to, of course the squat is going down and up like this. We're going to actually do it all the way down as far as you can go. So we're going to go down to where our butt actually touches the back of our legs or our hamstrings. So it'll be something like this. So I'm all the way down. And like I said, I'm down to where my butt is almost touching the back of my hamstrings there. I know some people do quarter squats where they only go about halfway down here, and some people do parallel squats where they go to where their legs are parallel with the ground. But I believe in full squats, all the way down, all the way up. I think it's the most safe and most natural movement for strength building. So we're not about ego here. We're not trying to see who can get the heaviest weights, because even though we are going to get heavy, it's going to be more about form and technique. And we'll get to the heavyweights eventually, but we want to get there properly. So no shortcuts. We don't want to do quarter squats or half squats. We want to do full squats all the way to the bottom. So like I said, if you're not able to do that, a good way to get your body prepared for that is to just do the squats up and down. That's about the speed you want to go. Another way to gain flexibility, this is going to be important too, is actually just to go down and sit in a squat for a while if you can. Just kind of hang out there and come back up. So that'll prepare those muscles for actually using the bar. So if you can't do the movement without the bar, don't try it with the bar until you gain that flexibility and strength, because we don't want to have injuries. All right, so when we go do the squat, like I said, it's a very natural movement. You just sit down, come back up. But when we're doing with the bar, of course, it's going to be across our back. It's going to be very similar to that movement. A couple of key tips is you want to keep your head up, looking sort of upwards. And that forces your posture to be straight and in alignment. You don't want to look down, because then you're going to kind of bow your back, and that's not safe. You could eventually even drop the weight at some point. So head up, chest up, chin up. So when you're going down and coming back up, everything is lined up nice and neatly. All right, so let me show you a couple of reps on the bar here. We're going to be putting the bar across the back of our shoulders. We're going to be supporting the bar with our hands, stabilizing it. About this position here, similar to what you would use for a military press. So it's going to be stabilizing the bar. And I'll show you how to do it here real quick. All right, a couple more tips too. Notice that I set the height here at a point where I had to kind of bend down, bring the weight up like this. I think that's important, especially when you get into the heavier weights, to be able to go ahead and get control of the bar, and it kind of gives you a preview of the weight that you're going to be lifting. Because if you set it too high, then you don't want to drop it on your back and stuff and not be ready. So I kind of get a little bit of a lift off there and get it stable. Also, when you're actually doing the squat, you want to inhale as you're going down and exhale as you're going up. That's going to be very critical in the future when you start lifting very heavy weights. A couple of other tips. Notice how I move back slightly, a little bit away from the bar or the rack when I was beginning, just to make sure I was clear of everything and wouldn't catch on anything. And of course, remember your safety rails too. Anytime you squat, you're going to need some kind of safety catch there. Of course, it's better if you work out with a partner because they can help you, but always have some kind of safety device. Or if you're in a gym, use a Smith machine if you're working out alone. But you want to be safe about your squatting. And another thing too, I recommend that you purchase a lifting belt, which will go around your waist and it'll help support your core muscles when you're working out. With these, I normally don't put these on until I start getting into the heavier weights. That's going to be up to you, but if you feel you need additional support from the beginning, you're welcome to use these. So. All right, so that's kind of how you do squatting the proper way.